This is a multi-million dollar money-making opportunity for anybody that's willing to take a couple minutes and listen to this video. The bottom line is this. Cities and counties all across the state, all across this country, are owed literally billions of dollars that is secured against real property in your community. And here's how, if you listen to this, you can be part of this campaign to collect this money. Every single community that I've looked at, I don't care whether it's Orlando, Tampa, South Florida, even small communities, they all have these pockets of blight. It's properties, houses that have been abandoned. We got vacant lots. We got commercial structures. And again, I just encourage you, think about your own community. You can think about that area you drive through. And one of the fascinating things is oftentimes these areas are right concentrated in the downtown. And there is a very specific reason why blight exists near downtown areas, and it has to do with the fact that these were the neighborhoods, usually, that were developed first. And then in the rush to the suburbs, these communities were abandoned and blighted. But the bottom line is this. Every community, city and county, specific here to the state of Florida, operates a code enforcement department. And it is the job, it is the obligation, it is the duty of that city, county code enforcement department to go in there, identify that property that is a danger, that is a blight, that is a violation of the health, the safety, and the welfare codes of that community. And that code enforcement officer slaps a fine up against that property. And one of the things I discovered years ago was that after the liens were filed, it's what I call file and forget. The code enforcement officer would do their job. They'd slap that lien up against there, and that lien would be clicking away at $250 a day. And for reasons that make no sense whatsoever, and again, I've got 10 years worth of listening to every conceivable reason, but for reasons that make no sense whatsoever, the community just forgets about it. I call it file and forget. We spend all this taxpayer money to have a code enforcement officer, a nice little uniform, go up there and open up a case and take pictures and put it into this software system that we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. And then they go in front of this quasi-judicial board, and the special magistrate says, yep, $250 a day. And then they just forget about it. They never try to go after that property. They wait for a phone call to come in for somebody who wants to pay that. And in many cases, when that phone call comes in, the clerk goes, all right, yeah, even though taxpayers are owed $500,000, we don't want that money. We're not even going to try to collect it, and we're just going to let you go and walk away. Well, I'm going to share an example here of a real clear example of how I helped a community collect hundreds of thousands of dollars in exactly that scenario in instantly recordable time. Here's the deal. So I was hired by this community, and they give me this list of here's all the liens that we have. You know, we got a single family home that's got 50 grand owed. We got a vacant lot over here. It's got 100 grand owed. And two in particular caught my eye because here was a big fat number owed, north of $300,000. The lien spreadsheet, and I'll never forget looking at that Excel spreadsheet, boom, there was that number, big fat number plopped out there. And I very quickly calculated that. I looked at this piece of property. I talked to the actual code enforcement officer. He goes, yeah, you know, here we are along a very busy highway. It's a nice community, very nice city. And we have been trying for years to get this corporate entity to take care of this property. This code enforcement officer had been around forever. He knew the property like the back of his hand. He said, you know, after this hurricane, the roof blew off, and after another storm, the side blew off. We had some electric problems. We had all these other things. And they brought this case up to the code enforcement board years prior, and they got a $250 a day violation. And that money just kept clicking away one day after the other one. And the corporation, who had plenty of money, out-of-state corporation, couldn't care less, just ignored it. Here's the fun thing. I filed the case, and literally within days of filing this case, I got this panicked phone call out of this South Florida lawyer. Oh, my God, what do we got to do? What do we got to do? What do you mean? Well, we picked up this case when we did our search because we got a closing that's supposed to happen. And what do we got to do to resolve this? I said, well, it's real simple. Here's what is owed to the taxpayers of this community. And let me tell you something. It was a big six-figure number. But I said, if you want your big fat multi-million-dollar closing to occur, you will have a check overnighted to my office made payable to the city, and we will take care of this, and your closing can go forward. And you want to know something? In a matter of days, that check was absolutely overnighted to my office. And it was, a really rewarding, really fun part of my career because I got in my little car and I drove right down to the city manager unannounced. It was kind of fun. And I said, I need to speak with. And they said, well, busy in a meeting, whatever. I said, I want it right now. So I walked into my client, city manager, and I handed a check. Eyes went wide. Oh, my God. How did you just collect it? And literally, it was a figure big enough to pay for multiple police salaries, multiple fire department salaries. Heck, you could have made a park with some of this money. But there is a powerful lesson there that must be shared in every single community. I guarantee you that there are examples like that in every single city in this state, in this country, every single county in this country. There are properties in every single city, every single county that when push comes to shove, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars can be collected. And there's just no reason why it's not being collected. I know the explanations because I've heard it for 10 years, and the explanations make no sense. And so the call to action is this. In your community, you've got vacant, abandoned property. We got hurricanes all up and down the coast. We got valuable commercial property. We got valuable community property, single-family homes, vacant lots. You have a duty as a taxpayer to identify those properties, to go in front of your mayor, city council, go in front of public session and tell them, I want to do something about these vacant, abandoned properties. And I demand that as a citizen of this community, that you, elected official, tell me why I had to keep staring at that vacant, abandoned, blighted property. The answer is you don't. And Mr. Mayor, Mr. Council Member, we need to get with our officials and start a program to first identify all these properties and then take action to collect them. I promise you, it will be one of the most transformative, positive things that happens in a community, and anyone can have the effect of starting this process.